Dave
Also good for
Plucker.
poker.
Yeah, exactly. He'd kill us in poker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, it's afternoon now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get the party started, guys. Good afternoon and welcome to Rotary. Kurt is going to lead us in the prayer and the pledge. So if you can, please stand.
Good morning. Heavenly Father, we are grateful for this gathering and fellowship once again. Give us the grace to understand how our lives depend on the trust, honesty, and integrity of our fellow men, that we may be mindful of their needs and faithful in our responsibilities to them. Father, bless that we may nourish and carry on our daily lives to do your work through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. And now our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, the four-way test. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Second. Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, will it be fun?
Will it be fun? Great. Thank you so much, Kurt. All right. So I'd like to first, I'm going to jump out real quick before we welcome our visitors. I'd like to call on Terry Bruckert. He's going to update us on citrus real quick.
Okay. Thank you, Tanya. I've been speaking with the farmers market in Belleville, who we use as a distributor for the fruit. And just recently, they started dropping the prices. They were at $36 a case up until this past week. We've been charging $40, and that's just his price. As of today, his price that he's paying is down to $29. He expects to come down further. However, he hasn't quoted me a price what's going to cost for the grapefruit, other than the fact that it'll be cheap enough we could actually do it and probably expect less of a profit than we've had in the past. The question is for us to make a December 11 date for Friday delivery on Friday, December 11, then distribute also on Saturday the 12th. We would have to get the orders into him by Friday, December 4, which is only 2.5 weeks from now. So if we want to do the program, I'll gladly work with the club and take the lead on it. That's not a problem. I can then get the forms out to everybody by tomorrow that you can distribute to your family and friends. But I just need the club to make a decision today whether or not you want to do it.
Thank you, Terry. We'll now open up for discussion.
Well, wait a second. Terry, you said that their price is going down, but our return will go down too?
Well, he told me today that what he has to pay is $29. What we paid him last year was $29. So he's going to have a certain markup in there, and he didn't tell me what that was today. So assuming his price goes down further, we shouldn't have to pay much more than the $29. I'm thinking maybe in the $30 to $32 range. So we'll still have a smaller profit when we're charging at $40 per case, unless you're wanting to raise the price. And I'm not asking that we do that. I'd rather we didn't raise the price and just maybe take a little bit less profit. But if it keeps going down, like you said, we should be able to make enough of a profit to make it worth our while and still provide a service. I haven't been talking to the Breakfast Club, but under the circumstances, I thought we'd keep it simple, just do it just ourselves. And Dan at the farmers market was fine with that. It's just a matter of us wanting to hump it with only 2.5 weeks to go. Do we want to do it knowing we'll make a little less profit, at least 10, 15, 20% less than last year?
All right. Any questions? Anybody else?
Yeah, this is Phil Roberts. What's the historic profit been for the club on this versus the, time required for Terry and others to make it happen in the club?
I don't have the numbers in my head. Prior to the fires about 5 years ago, when Matt Small here was running the program, we were probably making $7,000 or $8,000 a year on it. But then the fires hit, and that cut the profit margin in half. So I'm thinking I'm thinking Kevin Meter might know. I'm thinking probably between 3,000 and 4,000. I'm thinking this year, practically speaking, it'll be somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000, just depending on how many boxes we can sell under the COVID environment. So it's not going to be a big money maker, but it'll be something that would help. It would add to what we made on any of the other programs, and it's been a good service. It gets down to whether or not the club wants to do it, and I'm willing to take the orders and call and be the point person. That's not a problem. I just need to know if everybody's really wanting to get out and sell. If they are, I can get the forms to everybody by tomorrow.
Kevin, can you speak to the numbers? For some reason, I have a $2,000 number in my head.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I was close to what Terry was thinking.
Mhm.
It's probably in the $2,000 to $3,000 range after we had the, like you said, the decline several years ago. I think we made, like you said, 7,000 or 8,000, but I think it's been pretty low the last couple of years, 2 to 3 probably.
What's the budget say?
The budget says 2,000.
What does everybody else think about this? I mean, I'll probably get the same number that I got last year because I just know where they're going to go. What do other people think?
This is Gary Owen. I'll buy the same as I did last year, and I'm willing to go with it. I don't think I'd have an opportunity to sell more than I did last year because I didn't really sell any, just bought myself.
Yeah, I'm willing to get what I got last year as well.
Well, if it sounds like people are willing to do it, Tanya, I can, I'm going to be tied up in court today, but I can get a form to you tomorrow, you and the order forms, give them to you for your review. And if you like them, I could ask you then to distribute them to the entire club. And that'll give us 17 days to get them sold and get the numbers back.
Perfect.
Terry, this is Woody. Is there a minimum number we need to order?
I don't think he'll do that to us. I don't think he'll say a minimum. He would like us to try to do what we did last year, but I think the guy's reasonable enough that if we can do 2/3 of what we did last year, he'll still deliver them for us.
Okay, and I delivered for Rich Lunan one year. He had a lot of orders. Rich, are you up? Or are you willing to do that again?
You're muted, Rich. Can't
Now
hear
you're
you.
not muted, but not coming through.
Shake your up and down for yes. Just wait for
Let's assume for now that Rich is going to do it and help.
Okay.
I think Rich is pretty good and he's pretty reliable, so I don't think he'll be a problem. It's just a matter of the vast majority of us want to do it, then like I say, we'll get the forms out by tomorrow at the latest. You'll have them in your hands so you can get on it. And sorry for the turnaround time, but the product has been slow coming out of California and Texas, and we just haven't gotten final numbers yet. But I understand between the fires and COVID, we just have to be a little bit more patient than normal.
Is Ace Hardware going to be okay with distribution?
I will, what I'll do is on my way back from court this afternoon, if everybody's good with that December 11, December 12 timeframe, I will go down to Ace Hardware and get that secured.
Okay.
One other question. Is there any reason that we shouldn't raise the rates, the prices?
That's up to the club to decide. That's not my call. Right now, we've been doing $40 for a case of oranges, a case of grapefruit, and 30 each for half cases.
That price has been forever, as far as I recall.
Yeah, I've been in this club about 7.5 years, and that's been the price for the 7.5 years I've been here.
All right.
Yeah, this is Woody. That's pretty high. Well, I wouldn't want to go any higher personally, but it's up to the club.
I got to agree with Woody.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to leave it at that too, especially this year.
I agree with Woody also.
All right, sounds like we're unanimous for now. We can discuss, assuming COVID gets under control next year, we can revisit this maybe in September of next year and then determine what we want to do on pricing.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Terry. We'll let you
All
run.
right, thank you. I have to go, Tanya, so.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Okay. Grayson, now we're going to circle back to our visitors, welcoming our visitors. Thanks, Grayson. All right. So today we're going to welcome Ryan Ackerman. Ryan, welcome back again.
Hello.
Hello. So Ryan,
got you. different monitors here, so I'm kind of doing some work and doing this. So I've got your laptop over here and got you on the main screen over here. So.
Perfect. Well, Ryan, thanks for joining us again. We hope you have a great experience once again, and maybe you're considering joining our club.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So any visiting Rotarians today? Nope. All right. Next slide. So Sheriff Ken, do you want to take over with Happy Bucks and trivia?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me all right? Good morning, everyone. I will start off with the Happy Bucks today. I'm just glad to be alive, and I'm willing to pay for that. Every morning I get up, I am doing well. I'm healthy. My grandkids are healthy, and things are going well under the constraints that we live on. But I think we're all blessed to be able to get together and see each other and at least have a conversation. So I'm going to kick in another $10 to Happy Buck. And who is next? I can't see any hands here. Let me see if I can get back to my other screen. Is there anybody that has Happy Bucks today?
I do.
Mary Alice.
Yes, I had my second visit to the orthopedic surgeon last week. They only look at one part at a time, even though it's both shoulders. Yeah, what a racket. But anyway, so I have small tears in each rotator cuff.
Oh.
What I didn't know was that he said by age 70, everyone has tears. They just wear out. And some people have pain and some don't. But anyway, I was very thrilled to hear no surgery needed. So I was really tickled because I was trying to figure out, it's big surgery. And I was trying to figure out, I mean, you can't do anything with that arm. You can't do it for weeks, 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to take care of myself during that period of time. But no surgery, so Happy Bucks. I'm saving mine for when we meet again.
Well,
take care, Mary Alice. Spring training's only a few months away.
Yeah, we'll just get that pitching arm in order, Bob.
Congratulations. I'm glad to hear you won't have to have any surgery. So
Oh, me too, because that is big surgery. Thank you.
that's wonderful. Anybody else?
Yeah, Ken, this is Jill. I have a Happy Buck.
Hi, Jill. Go ahead.
Hi. So the reason I'm in my car is I'm actually returning from Waterloo, Illinois, where for those of you who don't know, District 6510 was one of the few districts in the world that received a disaster grant through the Rotary Foundation earlier this year. So the delivery of PPE to 25 of our 28 counties is happening. And today was Monroe County, but on Friday, it will actually be St. Clair County. So for those of you who might be available at 11:30 on Friday, that's when we'll be delivering the PPE to St. Clair County. So obviously social distancing and masks will be required, but we appreciate a photo op. I'll just take a few minutes down at the courthouse again on Friday at 11:30. Would love to have people show up. Steve Springer was just at Monroe County, so I'll submit his makeup for him. But thanks to all. I wanted to make sure you are aware that we are receiving some of the benefits from the Rotary Foundation that you're so generously supporting.
Thank you, Jill. And we're very proud of you out there representing us. And 6510, Club 6510, I'm just very proud to be a part of it. And it's so exciting that out of all the clubs, 2 of us, it's just very exciting and good work. Thank you, everyone. Any other Happy Bucks?
Oh, Ken, I almost forgot, it's me again.
Oh, yes.
Happy Buck to Casey and to Kevin for handling the finances and getting the money to Gambia for the mask project. Thank you, you guys.
Thank you, Mary Alice.
And Ken, it's Woody. I got 2 happy bucks. Our city, O'Fallon did their annual Veterans Day ceremony by invitation only at O'Fallon First United Methodist on last Wednesday morning at 11. Several Rotarians from our club helped out. Mayor Roche gave the welcome remarks. Phil Goodwin and Rich Lunan helped out with getting people in and out of the ceremony. VFW Post 805, Ed Martinez, Jim Sabella, John Petrozinski did an outstanding job posting the colors. Lieutenant Colonel Sandra Marston, retired, led us in the pledge. And Pastor Don Long from the church did the invocation. And Jim Scrivener, Al Scrivener did the taps, and David Vidito did the bagpipes. It was just a really very nice ceremony. And, you know, in this COVID, we made it happen. So we're real proud of that. And want to thank the VFW Post 805 for doing an outstanding job with the flag drive-through later on that afternoon through the sports park. That was tremendous. And I just real proud of O'Fallon for putting all that together. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Woody. And again, thanks to the club. I tell you, you guys are awesome. Any other happy bucks?
I have $5 to contribute.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to contribute to this incredible club. This coming week, as we're kind of looking forward to Thanksgiving, and there's so many questions about should we see our families or should we not? And this morning we got more good news, which honestly is the whole premise of the fact that once again another vaccine is coming out and it's more effective. We're so close, guys. We're so close to getting back in person, to getting back to where we were, and to being together again. So I just want to thank you all for being patient. Obviously, this next year, we don't know the exact timeline of when things are going to feel safe again for many of us. But as we move toward that, I want to thank each of you for your commitment to our club, as well as your commitment to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. And as a member of this club, I really want to thank you for your leadership. You stepped in at such a difficult time with COVID being here. And I tell you, you have just done an outstanding job. And guys, I know I'm kissing up to the president, but I gotta tell you, she's really taken on a really difficult task, and I'm telling you, she's shining like a superstar. So thank you, Madam President. Any other happy bucks?
Hey, this is Dave Plocker, and hey, Dave Vale and I both are happy that the Interact Club's project for November, where they're doing greeting cards to residents at Cedarhurst, is moving along, and the O'Fallon Township High School Interact Club is really doing some neat things. So,
thank you, Dave. Wonderful.
Yeah, I got a happy buck.
Ooh.
Spent last week in Branson, and they have an annual Veterans Week down there. And once again, it's they just do a tremendous job down there. The patriotism down in Branson is unreal. They had a great parade again. This year it was a little short. It was only 45 minutes. Usually it's an hour and 15 to an hour and a half. But they had a little fewer bands and that, but they did have 3 or 4 high school bands, 1 middle school band, and a bunch of veterans on the floats, on military vehicles. It's really a parade. I've been going down there now probably the last 4 or 5 years, and they really know how to put on a Veterans Day. So anywhere you go, you're thanked for your service, going into any business or anything like that, grocery store, whatever. It's just a real fine place to spend Veterans Day.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Dee. Any others? All right. I think we're ready to move on to trivia.
So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to put it out in the chat function first. That way everybody can see it in the breakout rooms. Then I'll send you all out to the breakout rooms, give you 5-ish minutes, and then bring you all back, and we'll launch the polling once we get back. All right, so here's the question in your chat function now. The first Rotary Club to be organized outside an English-speaking country was established where? Number 1 or A is Spain. Number 2 is France. Number 3 is Cuba, and number 4 is South America for those visiting us from the phones. So I will go ahead and break you out into your rooms now, and let me open them first. There we go. So you should all have invitations. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Grayson.
Hey
Grayson.
guys, where do we vote on the question?
Sure. So I'm actually having some functionality issues. So you'll do that in the chat function here in just a second once I get everybody back.
Okay.
Mm.
You're
Yeah,
doing a great
sorry to
job,
hear that,
Grayson.
Dave.
Grayson, how do I get everybody back on the full screen?
So since I've got a screen share going, if they're stacked in a little box, you can click on the grid view, which is those 9 boxes all together, and then you can expand it out to see everybody.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Normal, yep. Okay, I believe we've got everybody back. So I'm having some functionality issues if you weren't here when I said that at first. So you're going to vote on your trivia question today by putting your answer in the chat function. So 1, 2, 3, or 4 are your options. Go ahead and submit your answers whenever you're ready. It looks like we're split, but more leaning towards Cuba. I'll let Sheriff Ken tell us the actual answer. Ken, you are muted, sorry.
The answer to our trivia question, and I'm excited. So many people are close to it. Is Cuba.
Yeah.
Good job. All of the guys in our group followed Jill. So I'm happy to see so many people know the history of Rotary. Good job.
Is it wrong to feel like you won the lottery if you got Jill or Greg in your breakout group? Is it wrong?
No kidding.
More than money to have her.
Thank you, Sheriff Ken.
You bet.
All right, John Bailey, are you ready to give us the news on makeups?
I am. I have a few makeups this week. Looks like Mr. James Campbell had 3 for Habitat for Humanity. David Rothschild had 1 for Habitat for Humanity. Seems like that is really kicking it in gear with getting that house ready. Casey Sharvin had 1 meeting with the DGE Terry, I'm going to butcher this, Matthias. David Vale had 3 for the NIAN Virtual Exchange Committee, IT Committee, and the YEO Resources Committee. John West had 1 for the Club Service Committee meeting, and Greg Yank had 1 for, he worked giving out suits to vets.
Perfect. Thank you so much, John. All right, so today's program is we're just going to have a discussion with Larry and with Grayson. Many of you signed up to volunteer this coming Saturday at the food pantry. There have been some changes, so they're here to talk about the changes as well as opportunities that are in the works right now for everyone to be able to support this effort. So Larry and Grayson.
Perfect. So we're going to do kind of a 1-2 punch here. I'm going to give kind of an overview of Scouting for Food for those that are unfamiliar with it. It's the nationwide single largest one-day food drive in the country. So something that actually originated here, which I didn't know up until about 2 months ago. But I wanted to give everybody kind of an update and kind of give you a higher level view. And then I'll turn it over to Larry to talk about some of the things that he's going to be doing in O'Fallon specifically at the O'Fallon Food Pantry, along with what the modifications are going forward. So first and foremost, I wanted to share a map of our area. Hold on 1 second while I break this off and then share a different screen. We'll go ahead and increase this and put this in there. Okay. So, excuse me while I get rid of those. So this is a map of the Greater St. Louis Area Council, which is our local council. We're one of the largest in the nation. We're in the top 5, I think, now by geographic and population size. We go from Decatur, Illinois, all the way down to the Boot Heel, Missouri, and then over to like Eureka, and then down to Carbondale. So we cover about 63 counties and serve about 46,000 youth year over year in our various programs. And if you're unaware, the Boy Scouts has five programs really under its umbrella. The 2 most familiar are probably Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, which has been rebranded into Scouts BSA, as well as some older Scout opportunities or older youth opportunities venturing and exploring are part of that as well. And then we also have an outreach or Sea Scouting program as well, which we actually have one in our local area in Belleville, one of 2 in the Midwest, really. So we've got quite a bit of area to cover, and wanted to show you kind of the impact we have here. We're part of this area. We're broken into smaller districts, and that's kind of my area that I serve is St. Clair and Clinton counties right here at number 20. So I'll stop that share and go back to the main share here. So that way you don't have to see my ugly mug right on top or very big on your screen. Additionally, in the past, in 2018, the whole council turned in about 2.2 million food items for local food pantries in all of those different areas. So we operate very locally here as far as all of those different districts go and all of those different counties. So our district specifically, and most of the O'Fallon units, there's about 12 of them. They all contribute to the O'Fallon Food Pantry. So they're the only ones, and it's all directed there. And I'll let Larry touch on that in a little bit here. But wanted to let you all know that Scouting for Food was adopted nationally here in the early 2000s, but it actually started in our local area in 1985 and was adapted upward. So Scouting for Food has a special meaning here in the St. Louis area. I'm sure all of you are aware of the little blue bags that pop up on your doorstep every November, and we ask them to be filled, and we pick them up 1 week after that. That has been a staple here for I'm not going to do the math on it. I think it's 35 years if I do it correctly, 45 years. But it's something that we do every year, and it's been adopted nationally since it was such a great program. But in 2018, we turned in 2.2 million food items, and last year we turned in 2 million as well. So it is a big deal here in this area. And so, with COVID going on, we decided to pull the plug on it last Thursday to kind of limit the spread, and with some of the restrictions coming out, not only in the St. Louis area, but in Illinois as well. So we've not canceled it necessarily, we've modified it. So the basic overlook of what this is going to look like is there's 2 ways that you can donate to the Scouting for Food drive now. One is a very simple text to give campaign. It's a financial contribution, and that passes right through us and stays inside of the local zip code from wherever that donation comes from. So all of the money that gets texted in from O'Fallon will go to Larry and the O'Fallon Food Pantry. We're also working through, because of all the restrictions that came out on Thursday last week, we are also working through a way to get a box or some sort of container in a local retail operation. So that way you can still donate food items if you had already went out and bought and were prepared to give for this year. So we're working on that. We're not quite there. We have a lot of connections in retail locations at the council level. One of our biggest partnerships is with Schnucks, and we're really hoping that we can try and work that relationship to get those out in all the metro area at least. But we're also working on some other areas to put up those boxes. And we'll definitely get one out to the O'Fallon Township building, so that way you can donate directly to the O'Fallon Food Pantry, and it'll go right to Larry's group there. So that's kind of the update from my side, kind of a higher level view. I'm going to turn it over to Larry to give a little bit more of an update from the O'Fallon Food Pantry.
Thanks, Grayson. Let me just kind of give you a little context. We have 2 large community food drives every year. In the springtime in May, the Stamp Out Hunger, which is run by the Postal Service, collects food and delivers it to us. And then, as Grayson just mentioned, Scouting for Food, which is November. Of the two, the Scouting for Food drive is the largest by about 3 times larger than the postal drive. On a monthly basis, the food pantry spends around $10,000 a month to purchase perishable items, milk, eggs, cheese, those kinds of things. And as we run out of donated canned goods, then we purchase canned goods and pretty much throughout the year. The benefit of the Boy Scout food drive if anybody has ever been there to either drop off food as part of a scouting unit or to stay and sort food, is there is a ton of food that comes in the building. And that food really lasts the pantry about 3 months. It's amazing. Other than green beans, and we've got green beans probably for the next at least for the next year. That's the most popular item donated, is green beans for some reason. But the money that the food that comes in really just takes the pressure off of our budget. That allows us to continue to support the folks in the O'Fallon Township 62269 zip code area throughout the year. In 2019, we were supporting about 265 families a month on average, and that's about 750 people. Still a mystery to me. Our numbers are actually down a little bit this year. We're not serving as many people as we had in the past. Part of it is just some sensitivity from people to get out and come to the pantry due to COVID requirements, because we do have a pretty significant elderly population that uses a pantry. But right now we're seeing about a little over 500 families a month and about 225 people. So when the COVID first hit, and there was the major impact to us from a food pantry was an inability to purchase the quantities of food necessary. Aldi's was limited to 4 cans per item. Other stores had restrictions as well. And so we were in a bit of a quandary, and the community itself at large, the O'Fallon community, came together, and a number of churches across the community held food drives. And those food drives really sustained us for a couple of months as the supply chains at all the grocery stores in towns sorted out. In addition to food, we a tremendous outpouring of money as well. So the question was asked to me, if the Boy Scout food drive was totally canceled, what would the impact be on the food pantry? Short answer is we just buy more stuff. But the good news is we've got the money available to do that. As Grayson mentioned, there is a modified thing. We have already coordinated with the township to collect food there on the Saturday, November 21st. We're going to be open. If you wanted to drop by and drop off food on that date, we'll be open, or otherwise we'll have a box in the township if you come by there. I have talked to a number of troops. Grayson, I don't know if you've spoken with them yet, but there's some troops that are talking about, doing a collecting food within their troop and then bringing that food to the food pantry. So everybody's trying to find a way to support the food pantry, which is great, because that's truly the pantry is a community endeavor. I mean, the Rotary Club supports it. A lot of individuals and churches and other groups support the pantry as well. So I think the unknown is the hardest part, trying to figure this out. I had come to the club and asked for help sorting food on the day of the drive, November 21st, and we're still trying to sort out how we're going to do that. So stay tuned. Probably in all likelihood, we had looked at having 2 shifts, a morning and an afternoon shift, a 9:30 to 12 and a 12 to 2:30. My suspicion is the morning shift may not be required, but we're having a board meeting this week to try and sort through that. So as soon as we kind of get a better understanding of what you'd like to do, you know, how we're going to support all the things as the dust settles. I'll certainly let Tanya know so we can let those of you who have already volunteered to support that come in. Again, we're just kind of sitting here. What used to be a one-day massive event is going to be a longer period of time. But I think, you know, just like the Rotary stepped up and helped us as all the churches were providing food and helped us sort food, I think we'll be maybe going back to that model as well. But again, we're still trying to sort through all of letting the dust settle and sort through the details. And you know, if Schnucks, it turns into a pickup point, figuring out how we're going to get that food to the pantry to get it sorted and all those things. So I think while this is, you know, just goes to the 2020 has been a very unusual year, and the sooner it gets over, I think the happier all of us are going to be. And this is just another instance of who would have thunk it, but here we are trying to figure out how we're going to move forward with the food drive and be able to support you know, all of the restrictions and requirements that are levied on us from all the states and cities that are not only in the St. Clair district, but you know, across the region for the Boy Scouts. So any questions from anybody?
And before we do that, I did want to just throw in two more pieces of information there. One, the drop boxes that we're trying to get into retail locations will be there from November 21st through December 12th. So there will be a good amount of time to get in there and do your donations. Really, the genius of this Scouting for Food drive was not necessarily that we had a big call for people to come out and donate, but it was because we went out to every single door and put a bag on every single door. So publicity is going to be huge for this. So we're going to be working on that locally from our side of things and pushing it out on Fox 2 and KMOV and some of those areas. And I'm going to be working hard to put it in Facebook groups and other local media too. So we're going to try our best to help support food pantries like O'Fallon's.
Yeah, and one other thing, we do have the ability on our website. We've got a PayPal account. So if anybody was thinking about donating and either to that text that Grayson just sent out, or you could go to the o'fallonfoodpantry.org website, and there's a PayPal link on there to donate, or just drop a check off by the township building.
So Tanya, I have a question. If we signed up for the morning shift and Larry, it turns out that the morning shift is canceled and you need some people, you know, I would certainly be willing to move into the afternoon shift.
Okay.
If you can let us know, Tanya, what that decision is, you know, I can shift over to let you know that I'd be available to help out.
Perfect. Thanks, Rich.
And for all of us, this is Phil, for all of us that did volunteer, Larry, did you contact folks that were assigned? Because you said you only needed like, you know, a few, or how's that going to work? I didn't hear back. So I'm, you know, it may be that the more handsome people like Rich are going to be chosen, but wondered how you're doing it.
We haven't reached out to anybody. I've seen bits and pieces of people who have volunteered, but Tanya hasn't sent me the final list. So as soon as she gets it, I'll contact everybody.
Other questions?
So Larry, onto that cash thing, texting Scout Food to 9199 in the food pantry. What are the cash donations? Where do they help you out the most?
You know, it helps us in a couple of areas of things that historically don't get donated. You know, our pantry provides laundry detergent, dish soap. As I mentioned, all the perishable stuff. Every client gets milk, eggs, cheese, some type of meat that we're purchasing. And then once things, the food drives are heavy on the vegetables. but not as heavy on things that we canned fruits, which we hand out a lot of, pineapples, fruit cocktail, peaches, those kinds of things. So sugar and flour, we buy that because, we get some of it donated, but not very much. So that, we use the money to fill in those areas of where we don't receive donations from the food drives. So that's where I'd say it'd go. If you're not familiar, we're a 501c3, all volunteer run organization. And last year our expense ratio was 1.4%. So basically 98.6 cents of every dollar donated to Pantry goes right back to supporting our mission of providing food to those folks in O'Fallon dealing with food insecurity.
That's extraordinary, Larry. That's a lot better than most.
Yeah. Well, we're looking at giving pay raises this year, but 10% of nothing is still nothing.
Hey, Larry, this is Charlie Pitts. I learned something today, and which is don't give canned green beans. But is there a list somewhere of the kinds of things that you are most in need of so that we don't give you stuff that you've already got more than you need?
We don't have a list, but I could probably put that together.
I think it might be handy, particularly if you're going to do a media distribution, one thing or another, to say, hey, here's the things we're looking for. Here's the things we need. I know I would appreciate that.
Yeah, great idea. And we can do that. And then we've got a Facebook page as well as a website. We could put that on there as well. So yeah, good point.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Grayson and Larry. We have a few announcements that we need to go over. Again, just a reminder that if you need any sort of digital help, Grayson is still around. So if you guys need to reach out to him to schedule a time, if you're having trouble with your Zoom, or if you're just having trouble with some of the technology pieces to participate, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. So as you all know, this time of year is the call for nominations. So a couple of pieces of business here. First of all, we will need to decide as a club how we want to take those nominations, or how we want to, give nominations. So our bylaws give a couple of different scenarios. And so I'm going to ask all of you to open up your chat, because we're going to take a club vote based on how you want to proceed with getting nominations this year for some positions that will be opening up. So the first one, option one, is that we just take nominations from the floor. Okay. Option two is that there is a board appointed nominating committee. Or option three is both. I believe last year we allowed for both. We've done it a couple of different ways over the years, but option one, again, is to take nominations from the floor. Option two is a board appointed nominating committee. Option three is a combination of both. So please vote now.
And Tanya, if somebody wants to take on a role, they certainly can reach out to you, right?
Right. If someone wants to volunteer for a role, that is certainly an option as well. We would then have someone nominate them, just so that we're within the bounds of the bylaws. But that is certainly, we are definitely happy to take on volunteers. Okay, we'll keep going for just a few more minutes, and then we're going to move on to our next piece of business.
I have maybe a simple question, but how do you get your choice to send? I evidently didn't do it on the trivia thing either.
Should be in the chat window at the bottom.
I just hit enter.
Yeah, just hit enter. Did it work, Dave?
You're just going to send it as a chat message.
There you are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to close out voting now. All right, so it looks like we're going to do a combination of both. So at the board meeting on Friday, we will discuss who the nominating committee will be. But in the meanwhile, I want to let you know what positions are open, okay? So according to our bylaws, the following positions will be opening up. Obviously, every year we have a position open for a secretary, and that is a transitional position because they then transition up to president-elect, and then they are also president after that, and then followed on by immediate past president. So that's a leadership position within the board, and we need one every year. So if you know someone, or if you want to be a part of the executive part of the board, feel free to reach out to myself or someone else, and we'd love to have you nominated. Club service, so that's Dave Plocker's position. That's a position that basically is overseeing the operations of the club, as well as different social aspects. And he always makes sure that there's batteries in the microphone when we meet together. Community service, that is Grant Littleton's position. The last couple of years, he's been handling that for us. So different aspects of that position include like the Rotary Christmas parade and the Veterans Day parade, and maintaining the float. So those kind of things come into play with that position. If you're interested in that one, I believe Grant is not going to be seeking another term, so you may want to reach out to him to get some specifics about it if you want to volunteer for that position. Youth service is a position that Bob Kaufman did. One of his keynote pieces is the Children's Halloween Parade, as well as the O'Fallon Student of the Month, and the scholarship program. So that's a very interactive position. And again, if you're interested in volunteering for that, you can reach out to Bob. Public relations, that is a newer position on our board, and that was created under the tenure of Dale Rupright as president. That position is responsible for much of getting our message out about Rotary. Dale has indicated he is not interested in a second term, so he is opening it up to anybody else who would like to volunteer. Rotary Foundation, that is a big position in our club, and Jerry has done it for about the last 5 years, and it basically is everything from issuing Paul Harris Fellows to collecting the Every Rotarian every year, to all work under that foundation umbrella. So if you're interested in that position, that will be coming open as well. Jerry has indicated that he's ready to hand the baton off to someone else. All right, so that's our big piece of business. We will get back to you on the nominating committee. If anybody has any nominations that they would like to put forth now, please let me know. Otherwise, you can email me and we'll present the findings to the board as well. All right. All right. Brian Severns just nominated Terry Bruckert for foundation, just in case nobody saw it on the chat. All right. Thank you, Brian. Okay. Up next is we're going to talk about the Thursday social. So Thursday evening, around 6 o'clock, we're all going to log in on Zoom, anybody that's available, and we're going to share a meal. So if you want to make your own meal, want to have a can of soup, whatever you want to do. But it's more of just an evening of fellowship. We're going to talk about things that we're grateful for this year, and it's just going to be a social, that's it. Dave Plocker is going to tell us about an opportunity for a way to make an impact on the community by supporting a local business. All right.
Okay. So you can acknowledge by shaking your heads and stuff if you want, but Tanya sent out in an email information about this event. And we did this last month with a restaurant downtown, and Dave Vale and I, a little bit about why this restaurant, but the name of the restaurant is Hue, Y-O-U, Korean and Japanese cuisine. And they're right behind the Steak and Shake. And that's their location. But their daughter, I became aware of this restaurant because their daughter is the vice president of the OTH Interact Club. And in introductions, when the kids were saying who they were and why they wanted to be in Interact and what was interesting about them, she mentioned the struggle that small restaurants, locally owned restaurants, are having. And so I went out last week and got a carry out from them. All they're doing is carry outs. They're doing nothing inside at all. And I really enjoyed the food. And so in talking, the club service got together, team, and we talked some and a number of others, and we came up with this idea of putting in a carry out order. And then it can be part of that Thursday night. You could eat earlier, you could eat later. But this is the restaurant that we're going to support this time around, okay? It makes sense to people a little bit. Here's the key thing we have to remember is they need to know ahead of time what has to be prepared. So we can't call like a normal restaurant for carryout. We can't call at 3 o'clock and say, this is what I want and I'm going to pick it up at 5. We need to be calling today, tomorrow, Wednesday, okay? And arranging, I think if some people can get the carryout earlier, that would be good to help spread out the workload for them, okay? But I really enjoyed the food. So the restaurant itself, I think I can share my screen here. This is the restaurant. Are you seeing that now?
Yes.
And this is the phone number to call. The food, if you click on food here, you'll actually see the menu for food, or you can click on the button for sushi, okay? And please be generous with tips. I just really enjoyed the food we had last week, Thursday, I guess, or Wednesday, whatever it was. You'll see in the notice that I sent, this letter that was put together here, you can see there's a yellow highlight area down here. So that's what's important to remember about when to call, explain what you're part of. And if you want to have dinner tonight, call them, right? We wouldn't have to necessarily. So what we're doing, and anyway, so that everybody should have this. Questions, comments, concerns about that anyone has?
We do have a question in chat that has Dave Snyder's asking, are they a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
I have no idea if they're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Is there something in that question, Dave, that we ought to be more aware of than I clearly am?
don't know if Dave,
I mean, I guess,
let's see if Dave is still on there.
I don't know.
I don't see Dave popping
Yeah.
up.
I don't know if we, and we're going to, if people are interested, we're going to do this again. We'll just kind of keep doing this. And we thought that we could tie the carryout event in with a Zoom call where people could share, you know, what they had to eat, who's there, what they're thankful for, and see if we can do that in such a way that it's not too chaotic.
It'll be a lot of fun on Thursday. So if you're available and can join us, it will be a makeup opportunity. It will not be a regular meeting, but it'll be a lot of fun. And if you can help support another local restaurant, especially right now as we're heading into winter and a lot of people can't have outdoor dining, it would be a great idea. Charlie Pitts did follow up that says they are a chamber member. So all right, so moving right along, this weekend or this Friday, we have a board meeting. So if you are a board member, please send me your board report so that we can, Dave, you can stop sharing your screen. Let's see here.
Okay.
There you go, Dave. All right. So we have a board meeting. Please send your reports by Thursday at lunch so we can get that out to the other board members. I'm going to call on Jerry. Jerry.
Yes. We have Salvation Army bell ringing on the 12th and 19th of December at Walmart and at Sam's. This is going to be more difficult than usual, so I'm going to send a P-mail to everybody. Please email me back your suggested, what your desired day, and give me an idea, morning, afternoon. I will get that out this afternoon or tonight. The Salvation Army is working on how to do this with all the COVID restrictions. So it'll be safe. It's always a fun thing to do. The email will be out sometime this afternoon or tonight. The other thing is, for every Rotarian every year and sustaining membership, the donation has to be, if you want it, credited to this year's tax, it has to be to me by the 15th of December so I can get it on the road to Rotary. We're not doing too well in that area. We've always been, or the last 3 years, we've been 100%. I think we're down around 10% this year, but that's kind of understandable since I've not been able to harangue you in person. So please email me or drop, well, you can't email the money, but if you drop a check by my house, you know, my address is in the Rotary, on the club list. You can also donate by credit card to Rotary International. You go to the donation page, but make sure that you put on it that it's for the annual fund, because if it doesn't go to the annual fund, it doesn't count for every Rotarian every year. If you have contributed to the matching points for Polio Plus, I think there's 2 or 3 of you have. That obviously is not to the annual fund, so it won't count, so I'll have to harangue you later. This Rotary year ends next June 30th. So hopefully we'll be in person together so that I can harangue you in person, but don't wait. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jerry. All right, and for those of you who haven't participated in the bell ringing, it is a lot of fun. I know Jerry and Rich oftentimes wear their no bell ringers, and they like to. They have entire outfits that they wear, and it's a real deal. So if you have an opportunity, please do sign up. You'll have a lot of fun and enjoy it immensely. Anything else for the good of the club?
Somebody asked what I had that they really liked, and I think there's one thing that if you don't order that spicy crab salad, which really isn't spicy at all, you will have missed it if you like crab at all. Okay, and after that, you know, the sushi, I didn't have the sushi, but it's good. I don't know what else to recommend to folks, but if you reach out to me, I don't know what else to recommend.
All right. Jerry, what were the dates again for the bell ringing?
He may have signed off. He said the 12th and the 19th, I believe.
The 12th and the 19th is what I recall too. Thanks,
That's
Rick.
correct.
Awesome. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else for the good of the club, I've got to dash off.
Hey, Larry, this is Larry Strube. This is Bob Kaufman. Can you hear me okay?
Again, Bob.
Yeah, I had to drop off. I had a problem with the signal, but where are the Scout for Food Pantry drop-off locations?
To be announced.
To be announced.
Make sure they get out there. But there will be a box at the township, at the pantry, if you want to deliver on. Larry, you said you were going to be out there on the 21st, this Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday the 21st is what we think we're going to do. And anytime the township's open during the week, Monday through Friday.
Okay. All right. Thanks much.
You bet.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Nothing else for the good of the club? I declare this meeting adjourned. Have a great Rotary week.
Grayson, are you going to stay on to help those of us that need some assistance? I'd like to get some help.
Sure thing.
I can't get the chat box to come up on my screen.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm just, let me